You actually talked about that in next episode.
Let me start that just section.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do that. So Yay, you're here. Welcome to How to Be a Grown-Up with CK and GK. Let's get started.
Cha-ching! It's Tuesday.
Yes, it is. We are so glad you're here. This is How to Be a Grown-Up, the show that teaches you things grown-ups need to know. And this week we're continuing with Finance February, part 2 of Finance February. And this episode is all about women and savings, or women's lack of savings, right? So Jenny's going to tell us why women don't save as much as men and what we can do to fix that. But first,
I will introduce Caitlin. We could call her Change for $1 because it just makes sense.
oh, I was like, wait, only $1? Girl, these nails cost way more than $1.
No,
Can you just up
no.
the price a little bit?
But you make
And
sense.
that's Jenny, my fierce, protective mother bear. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's get to it.
So we are talking about why women don't save as much as men. And I read 3 different articles to help put this together. One is called 26% of Working Women Are Leaving Free Money on the Table That Could Set Back Their Retirement by Alex Gailey.
Oh my gosh.
Another one is What Holds Women Back from Saving and What They Can Do About It by Jasmine Sukanon. And Why Women Don't Save as Much as Men by Liliana Hall. Okay, so this was really interesting to me. Okay. So according to Bankrate, they did a survey and saw that 26%, more than a fourth of working women, did not contribute into their retirement savings last calendar year.
Wow. That's
Okay?
a lot.
Now, that's a lot. It's a huge amount when you compare it to men. Only 16% didn't contribute.
Wow.
It's almost half again as more.
Yeah, it's insane. Okay.
Okay, so Emily Green, who is the head of private wealth management at Ellevest, reported that the average woman keeps 70 cents of every dollar in cash rather than saving it.
Whoa.
So for every dollar that a man would invest, a woman is keeping 70% of that as cash rather than...
Just like in her savings account.
Right.
Wow.
Normal
Okay.
savings or checking, even worse.
Ugh.
Okay.
I might be guilty of this. Okay.
The 2023 Wealth Watch survey from New York Life found that in 2022, women saved just an average of $3,100, whereas men saved an average of $7,000.
Oh. Ew.
Retiring women, according to Vanguard, have 44% less saved than retiring men.
Okay, there's got to be something behind this.
Yeah,
like,
so,
what's the
why
reasoning
is this
for
happening?
this?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about different reasons that this exists, and then we're going to try and brainstorm some ways to fix those things. So the first one is the gender pay gap. And so I am going to need you to fix that. What are your ideas?
Burn it all down? Like burn down the patriarchy?
So there's not a whole lot that we can do about this across the country on our own, but we can continue to look for legislation and argue for more pay, negotiate when you're signing a contract. But right now, white women earn 82 cents on a man's dollar.
Okay.
Women of color earn somewhere between 65 and 70 cents on a
This
man's
is
dollar.
why it's so important to advocate for policies that are transparent about salaries too.
Right.
Because you and I have both worked in places where you were not supposed to talk about your contract and how much it was worth and what benefits you got. And like, that's not okay. You should be able to share that information.
Right.
And that's a law. It's required now, at least in most states. I know California led the charge on that, but that's That's a big deal. This is why transparency helps everyone, especially women of color who are not making nearly enough money
Right.
for the work that they're doing. Oh my gosh.
It's
Okay.
about 2/3 of the pay of men.
Insane. That's insane. Also, I'm gonna like just throw in there too, 82 cents on the dollar for white women, but also the products that women buy are more expensive because you pay
Yes.
more for that pink razor than you do for a men's blue razor or whatever. It's
Yes.
pink tax is real. So
And that is one of the things in here that I read in these articles is also it does cost more to be
a woman. Yes.
Women's self-care products like shampoo, razors, all of those things. And I'm not talking about feminine products. I'm talking about like just
Actual hygiene.
Body wash,
yes,
whatever.
Just body washes. Yeah.
45% more expensive than men's on the average.
Insane. Absolutely insane. Like not okay. And then you add in the cost of feminine hygiene products and
Right.
of course
Or-
it's more expensive to be a woman.
Yeah, like
for sure.
I put on a moisturizer every night. John doesn't do that. Right? Like,
right.
anyway.
Patriarchy, burn it all down. That's how we fix this.
Okay. So another part of this pay gap is it is now reflected in your Social Security earnings. Because the way that
Oh.
your Social Security payments are calculated is based on your 35 highest earning years. So
like when I
women-
started making money at 25 years old, that counts.
Right.
Ugh.
But women who collect Social Security on average collect only 80% of what men are getting because of the pay gap.
Right. So ridiculous.
One leads to the other.
Right.
Okay. So another thing that I uncovered that I thought was really interesting and we have a solution for is this lack of generational practice.
Oh.
Okay. So it was really interesting to me. The Equal Credit Opportunity Act in 1974
Thanks, RBG.
said that women can own a credit card in their own name.
Yep.
1974.
Thanks, RBG. Got you, girl.
Okay. So what that reflects as is Gen X is really the first generation of women that had to manage debt in their own name.
Oh, I see what you're going. Okay, I gotcha.
So we can expect that 2 or 3 generations of women from now, they will have had enough practice in their family, enough culture of debt management, assuming that they had savvy female role models, that
Sure.
saving and not overspending are actually a practice in your family.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
But if you were born before, let's say, the 1950s, you didn't ever have debt in your own name, or at least not credit card debt.
Well, and even like people like my mom was in her teens in 1974, so it was new to her too.
Right.
So I would be the first or the second generation to be able to. Okay.
Right.
All right. I see. Okay.
One of the things that we can do to fix this, besides just wait for time,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I am really
Right.
interested in following this story and seeing if what is predicted is true. That as you see more of women in your family being financially sturdy, you will also start to grow that way.
Agree.
Another way that we can start working on this right now is to talk to women in your community about finances.
Yeah.
Okay. This does not have to be taboo. If you're not interested in sharing what you make or what your benefits package is, you can still have very interesting and important conversations with other women in your community about how to take care of their financial future.
There are some really interesting podcasts about women and financial health too, where if you don't have people in your circle who can support you with that, you can go listen to other people who know what they're talking about
Amazing.
more than us.
One I'm thinking of is the Susie Orman
Susie Orman, She's
Women
good
and
with
Money.
that.
Okay,
There are
so
lots of other ones too.
another reason that women are saving less money than men is women are more likely to graduate from college, which means women are more likely to take on student loans.
I was going to say, this is supposed to be a good thing.
Right.
And now...
women are more likely to graduate from a 4-year university and more likely to go on to graduate school.
And then you end up with student loan debt. You go into a position that pays you less money than a man, and you just can't win.
Right.
Like, wow. Okay.
So more student debt means less money to save.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're getting to the saving place later in life.
Which means you get less in Social Security too, because it's for your last 35 years of earning,
right?
You may not even, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Burn it all down.
Okay. Another reason is that women are more likely to be caregivers. So if you're not earning an income, it's kind of hard to save a portion of your income.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Any percentage of zero is still zero.
Right.
Right. 23% of working women only work part-time, so they might not have company benefits regarding retirement, but they also are earning less money. So they have less to save. But the killer one that we can add to the list of patriarchal problems, only 35%, a third roughly, of United States employers offer paid parental leave.
And to be clear, that paid parental leave is probably for about 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
Which is, if you've ever had a child and you have to go back to work after
They're
6
not
to
kittens.
8 weeks.
They're not weaned in 8 weeks and ready to leave their mother.
No, it's excruciating. It's literally physically painful for both baby and mom. It's very awful. And the reason that women are more likely to be caregivers is because we make less money. So it just makes more sense for the woman to stay home and let the man earn the money. Right. And I mean, when I first started teaching here in Texas, I took a very large pay cut moving from Colorado to Texas, and especially teaching in a private school. And I was paying to work because daycare was so expensive. Even with the discount that I got, I was paying to work. Yep. I did it because working was better for my mental health, but yeah. I was paying to work. Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay. What else?
So,
are there more awful things?
I said earlier that women are more likely to keep cash, like 70 cents on a man's invested dollars, a woman is keeping in cash.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's how we fix that.
Okay.
Like you said, listen to podcasts where the people are experts. Find a financial advisor online. Read a financial newsletter. Read a couple books. Go to your bank and ask what free financial services they offer.
Ooh, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that.
You don't necessarily have to pay someone to help you plan, but if that's a luxury that you can afford, they can help you maximize what you save.
Smart. Sometimes it just takes as little as like going, okay, I happen to have $5,000 in this savings account. Can we take that $5,000 and move it into like a CD or something? Like just something that will give you some higher rate of return.
Well, that is another one. Right now, pause the episode and go open a high yield savings account.
Yeah.
Compound interest. Nothing beats it.
Is your friend. I need to do that.
Earning interest on interest. So you might remember from 7th grade algebra, I equals PRT.
Oh.
The interest is the principal times the rate times the time. That is simple interest.
Yep.
Okay. But compound interest means every time it's compounded, you earn interest on the interest in your bank account.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a really cool thing. So you're making money on making money. A lot of high yield savings accounts have a minimum balance requirement. So if you have the cash available, you'll have to remember that has to stay in the account in order for you not to be charged a fee.
Exactly.
And And then the last thing, like I said, like always be negotiating. Okay. Be very discerning about your entire compensation package before you start a new job.
Mm-hmm.
The salary number is great. And that's what we talk about. But sometimes there might be more financial benefits available to you than what they initially offered.
Mm-hmm.
So don't accept the first one. Ask what else they can do. Because it might be that they can offer you another package that you didn't even know about because they were savvy and offered you the salary that you wanted.
Right. And there are, especially for people who are non-confrontational, like myself, where I only confront people in the shower when I'm talking out loud. We all know what I'm talking about, right? The best arguments, I win every argument in the shower. Just saying. You can seek out sentence frames that will tell you exactly how to negotiate for what you want. You don't have to go into this stammering the way that I often do on this podcast. You can have lines prepared for how you're going to ask for the things that you want for your job.
Yes.
And we've talked about this before, but Teal HQ, that extension that I have told people to add on to Chrome if they're looking for jobs, any of that, they do have talking about salaries on there. So it is worth reading up if that's a situation that you're in.
Yeah, I love that. And more negotiation is happening via email these days. So you can really plan out what you're going to say.
Be your internet tough guy.
Right?
Be that person. Yeah.
And so if you have a retirement plan as part of your package and you can max it out
for sure.
Whatever they will match, you put that amount in.
Yep. Absolutely.
Because again, you can't beat compound interest.
No, you can't. And it's free money. It's free. If they're matching it, you're not paying for that. That's them doing that for you. Like, it's free money. You need to take it. Yes. You need to take it. The other thing I've often seen is sometimes if you are offered benefits through your work, but you're already covered, or maybe your partner has a better package, or however that works, you can talk to them about what it means to waive those benefits and see if they'll compensate you for that. That doesn't always happen. It's not often something that happens, but you can ask that question and say, since I'm saving you money on paying me benefits, could you bump this up an extra $500 a month or whatever it is that it would, there are ways to talk about that too. Again, I haven't seen that often recently, but I know it does exist for some employers. So it's something to think about there too.
And what's the worst thing that could happen? They just
say no. Right.
You didn't have it when you started.
Right. That's the other thing too, is like, I think for women, it's so hard to hear no because we think it means no to every single thing. We don't advocate for ourselves as much as we should. But if it's an added thing that you weren't expecting, if the worst that happens is no, you're no worse off than you were before. And companies expect you to negotiate. It's not like they're going to go, oh, you negotiated? Well, you don't get this job at all and yank the whole thing away from you. They're not going to do that to you. So don't worry about that.
If they've made an offer, it's because they want to hire you.
Right.
That's how that works.
Right. You're allowed to advocate for yourself. You know what your time is worth. You know what your work is worth. Make sure you push for that for yourself.
So let's talk about this. 1/4 of the women last calendar year did not put money in their retirement savings. 1/4 of working women.
Right.
Okay. In 2022, the average woman saved $3,100. The average man saved $7,000. The gender pay gap has women of color making 2/3 of what men make.
Now, in 2025, or as recently as the past 2 to 3 years.
Right.
Not acceptable.
Only 35% of U.S. employers have paid parental leave. All of these things are hard.
Mm-hmm.
These are truths that are difficult to hear, but there are some things that you can do to up your savings. One is make sure that you're contributing and maxing out your match at whatever your job offers. Focus on paying off debt as quickly as you can, and then start contributing that same amount towards retirement. And don't settle.
Don't
Just
settle.
ask. Maybe there's more.
You're worth a lot. You're allowed to ask for what you're worth.
You are. And you want them to compound it.
For real.
Let's take a break.
For links to resources mentioned in this episode, head on over to ckandgkpodcast.com/blog to find everything you need. And be sure to follow us on social media. Head over to your favorite social media network and find us at CKNGK Podcast. And now, back to the show.
Okay, we're back.
We are.
So I really couldn't think of something that I was obsessed with, but then I remembered.
Okay, let's hear
it's
it.
something that I've been obsessed with before. About the same time last year.
Is it snacks?
It is a snack. It's those sumo oranges. We're talking about saving money, and I'm like, oh no, I need these oranges that are $1 a pop.
Right. Last year, you guys, Jenny came to my house. I was like in the shower or something in the afternoon. Comes to my house, puts an orange in my husband's hand, and leaves.
Yes.
And my husband hands me the orange. And he was like, this is from Jenny. And I was like, oh my God, it's one of those sumo oranges. This is how much she loves me. She gave me a $1.50 orange. Oh my gosh. So funny. Okay, well, I'm glad they're back in your life.
I've had to pace myself. I have had to hide them from Abby so that she's not eating my oranges.
That's how I am with Honeycrisp apples. I'm like, no, this is mom's apple.
Yes,
Remember
yes.
we talked about this.
You can
Mom
have a
has
Fuji.
things. Right.
Yeah.
Here's your Granny Smith. Keep on rolling.
Yeah. Have a Cara or a navel, but keep your hands off my sumos.
I buy you a whole box of cuties. What are you doing? Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, I recently went to London for work. It was very fun. It was very crazy. It was very busy. I was very sweaty. It was a lot. It was a lot of things. But on my way home, I was upgraded, which is amazing. And when you get upgraded, you can like lie down.
Like Beyonce.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut.
Let me upgrade you. So it was like you lie down in the chair because the chair moves all the way down. It turns into a bed. Yes, it's amazing. Well, you also have a very wide selection of television. And I had been told that I needed to watch this show for years.
Okay.
And I finally binge watched Abbott Elementary on the plane.
Oh, did you love it?
I am obsessed with this show. It is so adorable and relatable. If you've ever been an educator, this show will speak to your heart. If you've ever been an educator in a public school, too real. It's got like an office Parks and Rec sort of vibe, but there's a lot that's less, The Office was made 20 years ago now, which is like really hard for me to wrap my head around.
As I was doing this research, it said something about the last 20 years. And I immediately thought about my childhood. And I was like, no, 2002.
No, yeah.
I was like, oh, I had a credit card in 2002.
I was racking up crazy debt in 2002 because I was in college and I thought those glasses were cute. And so I bought them. I bought myself a little treat. $400 Kate Spade sunglasses. Whoops. Anyway, it's very cute. It's a lot less cringy than those shows because, 20 years ago, the cringe level.
Well, and that was like part of the show, right? Was like, how far can we take it? Scott's Tots.
Right. Oh, I can't watch that episode.
No,
I cannot.
There are so many people who just write that off. Like, I can't do it.
No, it's too hard. It's horrible. But this show is not like that. But it still manages to be really funny and heartwarming, and I love it. If you're not an educator, you'll still think it's funny. Like it's a great show. So if you haven't watched, Quinta Brunson's a genius. She named Abbott Elementary after her favorite elementary school teacher. Mrs. Abbott.
Oh
It's
my
so
gosh,
sweet.
I love that.
It's so sweet. Oh, she had my heart too when she went on to one of the late night shows. Might have been Seth Meyers. But she was talking about how she got to be on Sesame Street. And she was like teaching a class with Cookie Monster and like all the friends.
Oh,
and
love it.
And she was like, yeah, it was really fun the cookie's a little much. Like, we get it. You love cookies. Okay, great. No, you can't eat the scissors. Like, when the Muppets, any Muppet, this is why I love the actual Muppets, but when the Sesame Street Muppets act like adults,
Right.
There's something so precious about it, and I just love it. And the way she was talking to them, it was so good. So anyway, I love Quinta Brunson. I love Abbott Elementary. If you haven't watched, it will make your heart happy. So just give it a shot.
Well, I have a gem that comes from school. So maybe they can write an episode.
Maybe she can. Quinta, are you listening?
Yeah.
Oh, I just heard back. Yep, she's here.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Okay, so this week has been a week. And because of some standardized testing, our lunch got pushed to later in the day. Oof. So that our recess time is up against a younger grade's recess time.
Mm.
And we always yield to the younger children. So our 6th through 8th graders did not get to have recess.
That's rough.
It is rough. Okay, so besides the fact that they're not being able to get their energy out, they are now contained in the box that is the cafeteria for an extended amount of time because they finish their food in the same amount of time, expecting to have 20 minutes to play.
Right. I'm picturing, like, do you remember those models of like ions and atoms like bouncing when you heat them up and they would start to like bounce all over the box? That's really what I'm picturing in my head right now.
That's how it is.
Oh, I know. I've been there. I've done it.
So we have had to come up with some ways to do indoor recess. Trivia is a favorite. And so each table gets to answer just like bar trivia. And we collect all the sheets.
Bar trivia for 13-year-olds.
Yes, bar trivia for 13-year-olds. Yes. And so anyway, we pick up the sheets and then the team that has the most right answers gets a little prize. Most of the time it's just a dress down day or something that costs $0, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we did trivia. Then we did riddles, but instead of having them solve the riddles at their tables, we had them solve them by grade.
Oh.
So the whole grade would get a prize.
Okay.
I totally cheated and made 7th grade win. And everyone's like, you picked 7th grade. I'm like, yep. Yeah, I did. I'll pick 8th grade next time.
7th graders are the best.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, when we got to Friday,
oh dear,
I was out of tricks.
Yeah.
The room is vibrating. And we still have 15 more minutes before we can release these kids to their poor teachers.
Oh, man.
So not only are they high energy, we're borderline sending them early, right?
Right.
So I start scrolling. End up in a Reddit thread, describe a movie badly. And start reading these descriptions to the kids. So let's do a couple.
Okay.
Now,
I'm ready.
These are all Disney movies.
Okay.
I have built a character for myself at school that involves I'm obsessed with Disney.
Yeah.
Which maybe I might be. I don't know. Okay, so the first one is this movie proves that cats don't always land on their feet.
Well, I mean, Aristocats is the one that first comes to mind, but that may not be it.
It's The Lion King.
Stop. That's bad. That's a mean one. Oh, man. Cats don't know? Oh, my gosh. That's awful, but hilarious.
Right?
Okay.
A woman takes a nap to avoid doing chores for men.
Snow White.
Snow White.
The fact that she just goes into a house and she's like, I know, all tidy. Yeah. I hate that. Gosh, the 50s were a different time. Wait, is that even earlier?
Yeah.
Sleeping Beauty was 59, so.
No, I think Snow White was 1939. It lost the Oscar to Gone with the Wind.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right. Okay.
The final one I'll give you.
Okay.
A woman takes a nap and a man ruins it.
Oh, Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
Have you seen her skin in that? She was so calm and rested.
Yeah,
Oh my
because she was
gosh.
like 14 or 16.
She's 16.
Yeah.
Snow White is 14.
Okay.
And
Well,
Ariel's
anyway,
also 16.
that's how we handled indoor recess. A Reddit thread.
Perfect. I was waiting for you to be like, I started reading from the AITA.
Yeah. That might be next week.
You know what? You could BuzzFeed quiz them.
That would be fun too.
There's some like good geography ones you could do. BuzzFeed quiz them and see what happens.
That's amazing.
Okay. Mine is not nearly as cool as yours, but my son is in basketball, and sometimes I have my headphones in to make it look like I'm listening to something, but I'm really just listening to the people around me and just like kind of muffling the sound a little bit because it's a little bit loud.
Love this about you.
It's a lot. Sometimes like it's just too much noise for me.
No.
But-
The idea that like I'm putting my headphones in, but I'm listening to people.
But I'm
Like,
listening to people.
I am
I am.
100% eavesdropping on your conversation right now.
Oh
but
yeah,
you don't
every
know
time.
it.
So there's a very gregarious person who shows up at these games, and I'm assuming that the child is on my son's team, but I haven't matched the man to the child yet.
Right.
But I hear him, and this is all I heard of the conversation at the basketball game going, so I got in trouble with my son's crossing guard yesterday. Normally it's just like, hey, cross here in the crosswalk. So, but like if you're actually getting in trouble with the crossing guard, what did you do?
Well, and also those crossing guards, like they take their job real seriously.
Well,
It's like the voter registration people.
Right. Oh.
It's like, hey, I have been waiting 80 years for this gig. Do not get in my way.
So, yeah, I don't know what he did that he got himself in trouble with the crossing guard, but it made me like, I was, again, pretending not to listen.
Right.
But I cackled.
Oh,
So
this
then I
podcast is very
Right,
funny.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I had to like pretend, so embarrassing and stupid, but that's exactly what I did. So there you go. Okay, that was fun. Thank you. Thank you for the
that was
learningness. Now I need to
We,
go do the things with my monies.
I have some news. So I'm going to take some time off from the show, but the show is not going to take time off from you. I am going to work on this knee. It's so bad.
can't.
ACL, MCL, both meniscus. And I am currently in prehab. Hopefully I'll have surgery very soon. And then I will be working my way back to walking. And just this morning I looked at John and said, am I ever going to sit cross-legged again? And he said, yeah, you'll be able to. You'll be able to. I was like, good, because that's my favorite way to sit. And I realized,
you mean like crisscross applesauce on the
Yes.
floor? Yeah, you do like sitting
I
like
was
that.
like,
You
wait,
sit like that in chairs.
is that a sentence? Like, what's your favorite way to sit? But
Yes.
I have one.
Yeah. Yeah, you do like that. But so she's going to work on getting her knee back to the normal whatever that is. And I will have some guests and maybe a solo episode or two. I haven't figured out how that's going to totally all come together because I'm only funny with other people. So, I mean, I crack myself up, but I'm a lot funnier when someone else is around. So I'll make it work. But she's going to take some time and she might be here when she feels up to it. But in the meantime, we're all just going to be sending you all the best while you try and get your knee not blown up. What's the
My
opposite of
boss
not
called it
blown
my
up?
hinge.
That's what it is.
Yeah. He's like, how's your hinge going? I was like, it's bad.
Yeah.
And then he says, well, at least you'll hit your deductible this year.
Hey, get it. My gum stuff doesn't even count as part of my deductible. So there you
Lame.
go. Like, I know. It's elective.
Do, 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 do. It's elective. Do, 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 do. Sorry.
Wow. You guys are going to miss her, huh?
Oh, make good choices.
Oh, and find a high yield savings account.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey friends, thanks for listening to the CK and GK podcast. Find us at CK and GK podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or anywhere else that you pod. See you next time.